All right, Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders, the apostles of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in the gospel, broad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is an article by the Mercury News. It says here, U.S. officials, Trump asks about attacking Iran last week. All right. And it's the spirit how these things are happening simultaneously, because for one thing, we have the prophecies such as the mark of the beast, economic collapse. You have these pandemics. You have all these particular things that's happening in complete succession. But also you have the Third World War, like I specified in my other video, that the Most High, he's going to bring all these prophecies together and they're all going to form one big ball of judgment. All right, because in order for one prophecy to go forth, the other one have to be fulfilled. Primary example, like, okay, the pandemic, which is set up to bring in, the vaccinations, and vaccinations is setting up the stage for, the chip/the economic collapse, which all that ties hand in hand. The collapse ties into basically the Third World War, because once America's economy collapsed, then global markets itself begins to plummet. All right, and how do you think the other nations are going to feel? How do you think they're going to feel about that? Which is going to lead it all into a global world war. So this is why you're seeing these little strategic chess moves that's being implemented by the Most High to get all these nations in complete alliance with one another. So when that final prophecy does happen, all the chips will be in place. That way you don't have to go through foreign policies or, geopolitics or different revisions in order to set these particular key proponents up. You already have them intact, because even that itself will take time to do. But we understand that the Most High, everything is on his time. So anyway, it says here, President Donald Trump asked for options on attacking Iran's main nuclear site last week, but ultimately decided against the dramatic step, the U.S. official said on Monday. Now, let's just say if he set off war and that starts up a major war in the Middle East, what do you think that meant for his, what do you think that means for his transfer of office? I'm not sure how it works, but I believe if it's an act of war, all right, and it was an order that was led by the President of the United States, I believe he remains in there. But, you brothers can look that up, But I do understand in the state of an emergency, a national emergency, basically he could remain president until that threat is deemed neutralized. So this can be a step that he can take in order to keep himself in office, because he stated that he wasn't going to concede. Or if he does things, he's going to bring a big problem to the next presidential cabinet, which they all work hand in hand. It all works together to form one big picture, because the problems that Biden may inherit can all be set up through the elites anyway, to say, well, look, Trump's going to do this, and you as Biden, you're going to go in and you're going to take over and you're going to make tension among these other nations, because they have a curriculum to follow. All right. It's part of a particular formula they use to bring about global domination. But those are just few possibilities on how this thing can go. At the end of the day, it's in the Lord's hands. But anyway, it says here, Trump made the request during a meeting on Thursday with his top national security aides, including Vice President Mike Pence, his new acting defense secretary, it says Christopher Miller, and General Mark Milley, chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff officials, said. And you have to understand, Trump, he's known for firing his whole cabinet. He fires people. If you don't agree with him, he'll get rid of you. Like, I believe he fired some guy last week. It may have been I don't think it was his defense secretary. Yeah, I think it was his active defense secretary, because I don't remember the name, Christopher Miller, but he was replaced. But anyway, it says the official confirmed the account of the meeting in the New York Times, which reported the new advisors persuaded Trump not to go ahead with the strike because of the risk of a broader conflict. That would have pretty much sparked off World War III or something close to it, because off bat, if he attacked Iran, Russia would have had to get involved, according to Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, and Lord's will we pull that. But it says here, it says here, he asked for options and they gave him the scenarios, but he ultimately decided not to go forward, the official said. But the White House declined comment, and Trump has spent all 4 years of his presidency engaging in aggressive policy against Iran, withdrawing from the Iran nuclear deal negotiated by his Democratic predecessor Barack Obama, and imposing economic sanctions against a wide variety of Iranian targets. So this is just going to set up a bigger tension hole for the new president that's going to come and take office, which, at the end of the day, it is what it is, because this is all through the Most High. Biden, whatever. At the end of the day, all these devils, they work hand in hand. They on the same squad, So whether you have what they call, like, Barack Obama was considered a people's person, right? Which is BS. But nonetheless, man, it was still tensions between the East and the West, because that's the way that the Most High set this thing up. But it says here, Trump, who was challenging the results of the November 3rd presidential election, is to hand over power to Democratic President-elect Joe Biden on January 20th. But his request for options came a day after the UN Atomic Watchdog report showed that Iran had finished moving a first cascade of advanced centrifuges from an above-ground plant at its main uranium enrichment site to an underground one, in a fresh breach of his nuclear deal with big powers. But who are you to tell somebody they can't have nuclear weapons, but yet you're able to house a third of the world's nukes? Like, how hypocritical is that, man? But it says Iran's 2.4-ton stock of low-enriched uranium is now far above the deal's 202.8 kilograms limit. But it says it produced 335.7 kilograms in a quarter, less than more than 500K recorded in the previous quarter by the International Atomic Energy Agency, which shows you that these nations are up for war. They're ready to go to war, man, and we're going to get that in Joel too, because this is all the Lord setting up the playing field. So it says in January, Trump ordered a U.S. drone strike that killed the Iranian military general Qasem Soleimani at Baghdad airport. But he had shied away from a broader military conflicts and sought to withdraw U.S. troops from global hotspots, in keeping with the promise to stop what he called endless wars. But a strike on Iran's main nuclear site in Natanz could flare into a regional conflict and pose a serious foreign policy challenge for Biden. Which at the end of the day, man, all you devils are going to do the same thing. You all are gathered together for war. So whether Biden or Trump or Kamala Harris or whatever you want to call these people, these lower level luminaries, at the end of the day, all are wicked. All right, and this phone is doing some crazy shit. But anyway, bear with me. Get a couple of precepts here. What the heck? That's not what I wanted. Here we go. All right, so let's go from here to the book of Psalms. Psalms 140. Yep, Psalms 140 and 1. It says here, "Deliver me, O Yahweh, from the evil man, and preserve me from the violent man." It says, "which imagine mischiefs in their heart. Continually they are gathered together for war." Right, because out of the 200 plus years that America has been a superpower, 222 years this country has been at war nonstop. All right, for over 200 years. That shows you what type of people you're dealing with. These people are violent. They're grotesque. All right. They're evil. They're diabolical. They're narcissistic, man. This Edomite, man, his mind does not work right. Like it tells you in the book of Habakkuk, his spirit within him is not upright in him. So these devils, man, they love to play victim, and they swear by their bullshit policies that they're doing the right thing. But the policy says otherwise, because the policy is a big gray area. One word can mean something totally different. Like the word cat can be code for shooting a missile, when in fact you're thinking it's talking about a damn pet. So this man is a demon, all right? And he's getting ready to be taken down. It says, which imagine mischiefs in their heart, right? Because they really want to go over there and steal resources from these different countries. Like I heard that America have oil reserves in the Gulf that can last them another 700 some plus years. So why you going over there and steal oil from other nations that's less fortunate than yourselves, just to heap into you thievery, But it says here, continuing that gathered together for war. And that's Esau Edom. Those of you that know Esau and know his nature, the guy's a complete warmonger, man. He's a warlord, because that's what he's set up in his spirit to do, to bring war. All right. So this is the book of Joel 3 and 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles and prepare war. Wake up the mighty men and let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. And look at what we were just reading about Iran, how they're developing this uranium over a short period of time. And that's the reason why America is panicking, because they don't want people with the superpower, or they don't want somebody to be able to match their clout, so to speak. They don't want nobody to bring that same energy they coming with. So therefore, you know, they want to put sanctions on people, giving people limited choices on how they can run their countries, when in fact your country is ran like a cesspool of wickedness, you know. And it says here, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, and let them come up. This is those nations that's going to meet in the Middle East, because this war is going to go down sooner than later. It says, and beat your plowshare into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears, and let the weak say, I am strong. All right. So nations like Iran, North Korea, South Korea, these little hermit nations, man, Iraq, they're popping shit to the whore, you know, because they're like, look, man, we ain't shutting down our nuclear deal. The hell with you. Who are you? You think you could just come over here and police us? They're not going for that no more. You can't police the world. And it says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. All right. And let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there I will sit to judge all the heathen round about. So ultimately, this is what this is going to lead up to. So I'm surprised that Trump didn't go forward with the strike, because if he did, like I specified earlier, I believe it's a possibility that he can stay in office in the middle of an act of war or the state of an emergency. Because once again, Trump said he's not going to concede on that. So he's trying very hard to extend his time in office, which that can be a ploy too. That can be a ploy to stir up civil tensions between those patriots and then what you call a left movement. You know, people that's all about the democratic regime. That can be just a strategic move to rile up the tensions among the people when Trump and Biden is not really even beefing. You know, so people, you have to think like that. You have to think outside the box when dealing with this truth. All right. So this is the book of Jeremiah 50, and I'm going to start at verses 25. It says, the Most High have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. Those nuclear missiles that a lot of you guys out there blatantly deny. Hey, show me in the scriptures where it's nukes. We're showing you in the nukes, man. Use your imagination. Stop being simple, man. You know. It says here, the Lord have opened up his army, have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord Yahweh of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. The Chaldeans are more like your elites of today. You know, your presidents, your elites, these soothsayers, man, these prognosticators, these warlocks, these witches. That's your modern day Chaldeans in the form of the Rothschilds and those other 13 blood families, or the other 12, should I say, which it could be more. But it says, come against her from the uttermost border and open her storehouses. Cast her up as heat and let her destroy her utterly, and let nothing of her be left. That's talking about this land, this continent, this country, this corporation, which is on his last leg. All right. Sooner or later, all hell is getting ready to break loose on the streets of America. So you forget about the jobs and everything that you've lived your life for. That's getting ready to go out the window. And personally, I can't wait. It says, call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow, camp around against it round about, and let it none thereof escape, and recompense her according to her work, and according to all that she have done, do unto her. For she have been proud against the Lord, and against the Holy One of Israel. Therefore should our young men fall in the streets, and all our men of war should be cut off in that day, says the Lord. So you Jakes over here, you Edomites over here, you're going to fall by the sword, man. You're going to be slain and put to death in the streets. While your northern army, your American military is going to be shipped out to the Middle East and be slain in battle. And it says right here, it says, and our men of war should be cut off in that day. So everybody that's for the United States military, you know, hey, you got a death sentence waiting on you, man. You know, and you know, brothers have been part of the military, but the Lord always find a way for them to exit out of that if that's his will. You know, and you got believers in the military, but the Lord is going to make a way to get those brothers and sisters up out of that jam, you know, before the end comes, you know. But anyway, with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Double honors to the elders, the apostles of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutations into the hopeful elect. And with that, Shalom and a Bible ball.